News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Rix. The Justice Department's not saying why more than a dozen files are now missing from its website, including an image that showed a number of framed photos on a desk. It featured former President Bill Clinton, the Pope, and in an open drawer showed a photo of President Trump, Epstein, and Epstein's girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell. The images were part of a big documents dump by the DOJ on Friday, but were no longer available on Saturday. Homeland Security confirms the U.S. Coast Guard has seized another sanctioned oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela after President Trump ordered a blockade on sanctioned oil tankers traveling to and from the country. Secretary of State Marco Rubio described the government's cooperation with drug cartels earlier this week in Washington.
We know that they are in cahoots with drug trafficking organizations. It's not just that they don't work with us against these organizations, okay? It's that they openly cooperate with these guys and allow them to operate.
This is the second oil tanker that's been seized in the region over the last 2 weeks as part of an escalating pressure campaign on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and the nation's oil exports.
Please rise as we light the memorial candle.
Thousands gathered on Sydney's Bondi Beach in Australia this morning to hold a moment of silence in memory of the 15 victims who were killed in last week's mass shooting during a Hanukkah celebration. The Prime Minister declared Sunday as a day of mourning for the country and announced a new review of the nation's federal law enforcement and intelligence agencies. It was the country's worst attack since 1996. Here at home, we're learning more about Rob Reiner's son, Nick Reiner, who was reportedly diagnosed with schizophrenia several years ago and recently had his medication changed or adjusted before the killings of his parents. Sources say that's part of a sealed medical order signed Friday by the judge overseeing the case's initial stages. Nick Reiner is facing murder charges in the deaths of his parents. He'll be arraigned in Los Angeles January 7th. The lights are back on for many businesses in San Francisco this morning. Outages knocked out power to about 130,000 homes and businesses around Golden Gate Park yesterday. Pacific Gas and Electric isn't commenting on why it happened, but fire officials say at least some of those blackouts were caused by a fire at a PG&E substation. Target says its digital operations are back to normal after a major outage. Here's Bloomberg's Ed Kalegi.
Target's online operations have stabilized after a technology outage disrupted the retailer's digital order pickup, returns, and other functions during the all-important holiday period. Chief Stores Officer Adrian Costanzo said Saturday, "We're seeing stability in areas like order pickup, drive-up, returns, order history, and replenishment functions." The outage went on for hours on Friday, with shoppers reporting on social media that they were not able to place online orders or see their purchase history. Ed Kalegi, Bloomberg Radio.
It looks like December's so-called Santa rally has some believers on Wall Street. Bloomberg's Charlie Pellett explains.
Goldman Sachs' trading desk team says barring any major shocks, it'll be hard to fight the overwhelmingly positive seasonal period we are entering and the cleaner positioning setup. At Citadel Securities, Scott Rubner, the head of equity and equity derivative strategy, wrote, quote, "Following a year of strong portfolio returns and record household wealth, retail participants enter 2026 with both conviction and balance sheet capacity to increase market participation." Charlie Pellett, Bloomberg Radio.
It's been a tough year for many Americans to find a job, and many forecasters don't expect 2026 to be much better. Bloomberg's Nathan Hager has that story from Washington.
Economists surveyed by Bloomberg expect unemployment to stay elevated through almost all of next year, even with the economy continuing to grow. It's an unusual combination, they say, is powered by artificial intelligence spending driving the expansion without boosting hiring. They say it will likely mean another year of limited job opportunities, cooling wage increases, and a greater reliance on health care, which accounted for nearly all of 2025's job growth. In Washington, I'm Nathan Hager, Bloomberg Radio.
And finally, a bit of lighter news. Volunteers are now picking up phones at NORAD to answer all important questions from kids around the world tracking Santa Claus. Michelle Martin helps plan it.
Hearing little kids laugh and giggle and ask silly questions, it's fun. And so if we could bring that joy to them in some way, I think we did our job.
For the first time, she says believers can also call through the program's website. Live tracking starts on Christmas Eve. And that's News When You Want It with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Rix, and this is Bloomberg.